Hello, eager learners, and welcome to another fabulous week of English 235. It's March again, or already, or I don't know. It's been a very weird year, but I'm glad we're all here, March 1st, in English 235, getting to work on some fun things as we move forward toward the end of the quarter. And I do want to just point out, we are so close to the end of the quarter, guys. Look at this. We are so close. There's just a couple weeks. This is my cursor moving around in an excited fashion. We're almost done. So this week, you are going to be working on your standard operating procedures, which us cool folks like to call an SOP. I've never heard anyone call it a SOP, but if you want to start a movement, like, go for it. Carpe that diem. So we're going to be working on the SOP this week, and part of that SOP is usability testing worksheets. I'm actually going to move this here to give you a little bit more time with the usability testing worksheets. So we'll just switch these guys. Boom, look at that, that was easy. So this week, a standard operating procedure is basically walking someone through a process, and that's going to be due on Sunday. But sometimes our process makes a whole ton of sense to us and not a lot of sense to anyone else. And that's why we have something called usability testing. And there's a lot of forms of usability testing, but what we're going to be doing specifically in this context, because pandemics and COVID and distance and stuff like that, is you will ask someone to do the thing in your SOP. So your SOP could be anything. A lot of people like to do their standard operating procedures on like recipes, like how to make the world's best banana bread. And so your SOP walks you through the process of making the world's best banana bread, step by step. And then it makes sense to us. We want to make sure it makes sense to someone else. So you send that SOP to a friend or family member and say, hey, can you do this? And tell me if there are any places you get confused. They go through it. They fill out their usability testing worksheet. And then they send it back to you and you submit it to me. So you can find out where any tough spots might be that you can then clarify before you turn in that final draft on Sunday. The usability testing worksheet document has a place to sign it. Don't feel like they have to sign it with a pen and scan it, because that's a whole big thing. You can just, we'll enable editing so you can see it. You can just have them like sign it in a cursive font if you want. That's totally fine. It doesn't have to be a hand to pen sort of thing. That's a bit of a layover from when we used to be in person together. So you'll be submitting that here. This interview with the informant should be completed by today. Just a suggestion. A highly recommended suggestion, because it would be good to have it done. But technically, it doesn't have to be done until you turn in the recommendation report. So probably do it sooner rather than later, but definitely have it done by the recommendation report. Sorry, brief intermission for toddlers. It may happen again. Who knows? The informant interview suggestion for Friday, but it does need to be completed by the 23rd because you should be using it in your recommendation report. The other thing you're going to be doing is just a brief discussion on a James Burke video. So that's really the highlights for this week. The last thing I really want to call your attention to is our modules tab, where we've got all sorts of supplemental materials to help you out. So if you click on modules and just scroll down until you get to the standard operating procedure. Oh, look, the toddler's back. Sorry, third tries the charm. The standard operating procedure, everything you need is here. So I've got recorded lectures for you. I've got a standard template, bubble map if you like to do your brainstorming that way. I even have a sample completed SOP for you, which you might find helpful. And then I also have things about usability testing. Here's the worksheet. And when we used to meet in class, we would do usability testing by making paper airplanes, which was really fun. So if you want to practice that, you're more than welcome, but it's not a graded assignment. So lots of good resources here to help you be successful with your standard operating procedure. I think that's about it. As always, if you have any questions, reach out. I'm here to help. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing how your standard operating procedures come together this week.